I called HR, asked to speak with the compliance officer, whose name was Diana. "I need to report a potential retaliation issue," I said. "Can you come to my office?" "Yes, when?" "Now, if possible." I walked to the compliance floor, brought both documents, the loan denial, the credit report. Diana's office was small, professional. She closed the door. "What's the issue?" I placed both documents on her desk. "I filed an HR complaint 3 weeks ago about Mark Stevens, comments he made about women in banking. Last week, I applied for a mortgage through our consumer lending department. The application was personally reviewed and denied by Mark Stevens. The denial reason doesn't match my actual credit profile." She reviewed the documents, made notes. "Mark Stevens is an EVP. He doesn't typically review individual mortgage applications." "I know." "What's the loan amount?" $180,000. "That's below executive review threshold. Standard applications under $500,000 go through automated underwriting or senior loan officers." "Exactly." She made more notes. "Have you had any direct contact with Mark since filing the complaint?" "No." "Has your work assignment or access changed?" "Not yet." "I'll need to investigate this. I'll review the loan processing records, the HR complaint file, and Mark's involvement in the application review. This may take 2 weeks." "Understood." "In the meantime, continue your normal work. Don't discuss this matter with colleagues. If you experience any changes in work conditions or treatment, document them and notify me immediately." I left, went back to my desk. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't complain. I just worked. But I watched. 3 days after my meeting with Diana, I noticed something. My access to certain internal systems had been restricted. Not removed, just limited. Previously, I could view all retail lending applications for quality control purposes. Now, I could only view applications I'd personally processed. I documented the change. Screenshot showing previous access level. Screenshot showing current access level. Date of change. I sent it to Diana. No commentary, just the documentation. She acknowledged receipt. 1 week after the HR meeting, my manager called me into her office. Her name was Patricia. "Heather, I've been asked to reassign some of your quality control duties. You'll focus more on customer service and application processing." "Why?" "Department restructuring. Mark's directive." "Is this related to my performance?" "No, your performance is excellent. This is just organisational changes." I made notes after the meeting. Date, time, what was said, who directed it. Sent it to Diana. 2 weeks after my compliance meeting, Diana called me back to her office. "I've completed my initial review. I need to share my findings, and I need your permission to escalate this matter." "What did you find?" "Mark Stevens personally intervened in your loan application. The application was initially approved through automated underwriting. Mark overrode the approval and manually denied it. He cited insufficient credit history, despite your credit report showing the opposite." "Why would he have access to that?" "He shouldn't. Loan officers at his level can override decisions, but there's supposed to be documentation of the business reason. There is none here." "What about the timing?" "Your complaint was filed April 18th. Your loan application was submitted May 8th. Mark reviewed and denied it May 12th. The timeline suggests possible retaliation." "What's the escalation process?" Under our whistleblower protection policy and Australian banking regulations, Potential retaliation by senior executives must be reported to the board's Risk and Compliance Committee. I'm required to file a report. Will my name be included? Yes, but the policy protects you from further retaliation. If the board determines retaliation occurred, there are mandatory remediation steps. File the report. Diana filed her report on May 29th. I received a copy. 8 pages. Factual, documented, professional. Key findings. Employee, Heather Walsh, filed HR complaint against EVP Mark Stevens on April 18th. Employee submitted mortgage application May 8th. Application approved by automated underwriting May 10th. EVP Stevens manually overrode approval and denied application May 12th. Denial reason, inconsistent with employee's documented credit profile. Employee's system access restricted May 15th. Employee's job duties reassigned May 22nd. Timeline and pattern consistent with retaliatory conduct. Recommendation. Board review required under Section 12.4 of Risk Management Policy and ASIC regulatory requirements. The report went to the board's Risk and Compliance Committee. I continued working, processing applications, answering customer calls, filing documentation. Nothing changed immediately. The system access remained restricted, the duties remained reassigned. But I noticed Mark's behaviour changed. He stopped attending department meetings, delegated most tasks to his deputies. I documented that too. 3 weeks after Diana's report, I received an email from the board committee's legal counsel. Subject: Compliance Review. Confidential. Ms. Walsh, the board's Risk and Compliance Committee is conducting a review of the matter reported by our compliance officer. We would like to schedule a confidential interview with you to gather additional information. Please indicate your availability for a meeting within the next week. I replied, offered 3 time slots. They selected one. June 26th, 10 a.m. The interview was conducted via video conference. 3 people present. The committee's independent legal counsel, 1 board member I didn't recognise, and Diana from compliance. The lawyer started. Ms. Walsh, thank you for your time. We've reviewed the compliance report and underlying documentation. We have some questions. Of course. Can you walk us through the timeline of events from your perspective? I did. 15 minutes. Chronological. Factual. No speculation. No emotion. Do you have any evidence beyond what's in the compliance report? Yes, I've documented every interaction, access change and work reassignment since filing the initial complaint. I can provide that. Please send it to Diana after this meeting. I will. The board member spoke for the first time. Ms. Walsh, are you still employed in the same role? Technically, yes, but my duties have been reduced and my access restricted. Has anyone explained why? My manager said it was department restructuring directed by Mark Stevens. Have you received any performance feedback suggesting issues with your work? No. My last review was rated exceeds expectations. The meeting continued for another 20 minutes. Then they thanked me and ended the call. I sent Diana my complete documentation that afternoon. 43 pages. Every email, every screenshot, every note. The waiting began again. 1 week passed. No update. 2 weeks. Nothing. 3 weeks. Still nothing. I worked, documented, waited. On week 4, I noticed something in the company's internal announcements. The board has engaged an external law firm to conduct an independent review of certain compliance matters. Employees may be contacted for interviews. Cooperation is expected and protected under company policy. No names mentioned, no specifics, but the timing was clear. Week 5, I was contacted by the external law firm. Interview scheduled. July 28th. Same questions, same answers. More detail requested on specific dates and interactions. The interview lasted 90 minutes. They took detailed notes. Week 6, my manager Patricia called me. Heather, I've been instructed to restore your full system access and return you to your previous duties, effective immediately. By whom? Board directive, through legal counsel. Is there an explanation? No, just the directive. My access was restored that day, duties reinstated. Mark still wasn't attending meetings. Week 8, the bank's CEO sent a company-wide email. Effective immediately, Mark Stevens has resigned from his position as Executive Vice President, Lending, to pursue other opportunities. We thank him for his service and wish him well. Interim leadership responsibilities will be distributed among the executive team, pending a permanent appointment. No details, no explanation, standard language. But the timing was clear. 2 days after Mark's resignation announcement, I received another email from the board committee's legal counsel. Subject: Resolution and Next Steps. Ms. Walsh, the board's review has concluded. We have determined that the matters you reported warranted investigation and action. Your loan application has been reinstated and approved at the originally qualified rate. Your personnel file has been amended to remove any documentation of the access restrictions and duty reassignments. A formal letter confirming these actions will be sent separately. Additionally, the board has identified the need for stronger compliance oversight within our retail banking division. We would like to discuss a potential role for you in this area. Please contact me to schedule a confidential conversation. I read it twice. Then I replied. Available this week. Please send meeting times. The meeting was scheduled for August 5th. Video conference. Same board member from before, plus the board's chair. The chair spoke first. Ms. Walsh, we appreciate your diligence in reporting the compliance issues. Your documentation was thorough and professional. Thank you. We've concluded that there were serious lapses in our retaliation prevention protocols. We're implementing changes. Part of that involves creating a new position, Director of Retail Compliance and Employee Relations, reporting directly to the board committee. I waited. We'd like to offer you that position. It would involve overseeing compliance within retail banking, investigating employee concerns, and ensuring adherence to our whistleblower protection policies. Salary would be competitive with director-level positions. You'd have independence from the existing executive structure. What about my mortgage application? Already approved. Processed yesterday. Closing can proceed whenever you're ready. When would this role start? September 1st. That gives us time to finalise the role specifications and transition your current responsibilities. I'd like to review the formal job description and discuss reporting structure in detail. Of course. We'll send everything over tomorrow. The call ended. The job description arrived the next day. 6 pages. Comprehensive. Key responsibilities. Oversee compliance monitoring in Retail Banking Division. Investigate employee complaints regarding retaliation or discrimination. Report directly to Board Risk and Compliance Committee. Conduct quarterly compliance reviews. Recommend policy improvements. Reporting. Direct to Board Committee. No reporting to retail banking executives. Salary, $145,000. 20% increase from my current role. I reviewed it with Diana. This is real authority, she said. Direct board reporting is rare. They're serious about fixing the compliance gaps. What about Mark's replacement? They're conducting an external search. The new EVP will know you report to the board, not to them. Clear boundaries. I accepted the position on August 7th. September 1st arrived. My first day in the new role. I had an office on the executive floor, not because I was an executive, because I needed independence and access. I had a direct line to the board committee, meeting invitations to their monthly sessions, authority to initiate investigations without executive approval. My first week, I conducted a review of the Retail Banking Division's loan processing protocols. Found 3 instances where executives had overridden automated decisions without proper documentation. I reported them to the board committee. They directed immediate protocol changes. My second week, 2 employees contacted me with concerns about treatment following internal complaints. I investigated both, found merit in one, recommended corrective action. The books supported my recommendation. By week 4, people knew my role, knew I reported to the board, knew I had authority to investigate. The core started shifting. 3 months into the role, the board held its quarterly meeting. I was invited to present my first comprehensive compliance review. I presented for 20 minutes. Findings on protocol gaps, recommendations for policy improvements, data on complaint trends. The booth members asked questions, challenged some conclusions, accepted others. At the end, the chair made a comment. Ms. Walsh, your work has been exceptional. The board has discussed potentially adding a permanent board observer position focused on employee and compliance matters. We'd like you to consider attending board meetings in that capacity. No voting authority, but direct input on relevant matters. I pursued that carefully. Board observer. Attending full board meetings, not about the compliance committee. I'd need to understand the time commitment and expectations. We'll prepare a proposal, but we wanted to gauge your interest first. I'm interested. 6 months after starting the compliance director role, I accepted the board observer position. Attended my first full board meeting in March. The agenda included financial performance, strategic initiatives, risk management and compliance updates. I sat at the table, not as a voting member, but as a voice representing employee concerns and compliance matters. Mark's replacement, a woman hired from outside the bank, sat 3 seats down. She'd been briefed on my role and authority. We'd met twice. Professional relationship. Clear boundaries. The bank's operations continued. Loans processed, customers served, policies followed. But something had changed at the structural level. Compliance wasn't an afterthought anymore. It was in the room, at the table, with direct board access. 1 year after my loan denial, I attended a board meeting where they reviewed annual compliance metrics. Retaliation complaints? Down 40% from previous year. Complaint investigation time? Reduced from 45 days average to 12 days. Employee satisfaction with complaint process? Up 62%. The chair presented the data. These improvements are directly attributable to structural changes we implemented following last year's compliance review. Ms. Walsh's role has been instrumental. I said nothing, just noted the numbers. The meeting continued. 18 months after everything started, I received an email from Patricia, my former manager. Subject, thank you. Heather, I wanted to reach out personally. The changes you've implemented have made a real difference. Our team feels safer raising concerns now. I know I didn't fully understand what was happening when Mark was directing those changes to your role. I'm sorry I didn't question it more at the time. Thank you for how you've handled this. I replied briefly. Thank you for the message. I appreciate the team's cooperation with the new processes. Professional. Clean. Closed. 2 years after my loan denial, I sat in my office. The same bank, different role, different authority. My mortgage had closed, house purchased, monthly payments made automatically. My compliance role had expanded. Oversight now covered not just retail banking, but commercial lending protocols. My board observer position had become permanent. Attended all board meetings, provided input on employee-related matters. No voting power, but presence, voice, access. The bank continued operating. New executives, new policies, new structures. But the change was embedded now. Compliance reported to the board. Employees had clear escalation paths. Retaliation was investigated immediately. I opened my laptop, reviewed the agenda for tomorrow's board meeting. Item 7. Annual Review of Whistleblower Protection Effectiveness. Item 12. Proposed expansion of compliance oversight to additional divisions. I prepared my notes. Data-driven, factual, documented. The work continued, exactly as it should.